underwater stroll with one of the largest predatory fish, dangerous games with the king of beasts, snake lair, hooligan bear lying in the hammock, and much more. Wildlife is with you. In this edition, you'll see 1 in a million moments with animals captured on camera. I have no idea if this shot is authentic or not, but one way or another, it made me nervous. After all, a girl is standing on the edge of the precipice, whereas a goat creeping up silently to her from behind. Needless to say, what could happen? The only thing left is to hope that didn't happen. Where's my bus? Exactly this question asked the kangaroo from this video, standing on the bus stop and waiting for the transport. What's another reason for the animal to be there? Seems to me they have their own bus net, transporting the animals from one point to another. I wouldn't be surprised if it were true. The thing is that kangaroos are unpredictable creatures. Do you know they can suspend pregnancy after it's begun? If a female were fecundated but not ready to give birth because of carrying another cub, its embryo comes over to diapause until it's finished with the earliest cub. You'd better not bother the female at that moment and even not give it a helping hand. At every trifle it can hit so strong that you'll know all about it. A kangaroo is able to finish off an adult person. And even if an average man thinks that the animal won't knock him out and tries to push it on his own, nothing good will come of it. After all, the jumpers benefit from their tail both in the everyday life and during the battle. The tail serves as some kind of a third leg used to keep the balance and deliver a more powerful blow. Catch me if you can. What happened in the third video is really dreadful. In a nutshell, a young family was going home after resting in the country. The trip was quite habitual. Everything went good until a rat made its way to the hood. The rodent could hardly hold on to the car, and the driver was right that decided to stop. Anyway, his karma didn't do him any good. On the contrary, it bothered him for the rest of the evening. The thing is that the rat found its place right under the hood between the vehicle parts and went down instead of running away somewhere to the thickets. How could you take it out? It's not possible to remove the motor to get inside, right? At the same time, you cannot continue the way because the animal will die. All in all, the driver got really stuck there for the whole evening, at least trying to pull out the poor rat. Despite it how rare the previous clip is, I was even more impressed by this underwater show performed by a girl diver accompanied by a real white shark. These predators are extremely dangerous. In other words, they're insane. Even being in big metal cages, people are afraid the sharks will penetrate there and eat them. However, the girls swam towards the shark, hugged it, and started to hang around. It's interesting. What was driving it at that moment? What made it so confident? Dangerous jokes. When a lion is on the waterhole, it's utterly careful and focused. At the same time, you're in the wild nature, surrounded by other, not less dangerous predators, trying to find the right moment to attack. Crocodiles, snakes, all of them can hide in the water or near it to assault when the victim is distracted by drinking. Imagine how concentrated the king of beasts is. It was exactly when a man decided to frighten it. The joke worked, but it was extremely dangerous. You never know how the cat could have reacted. Friendly deer cub. I'll warn you right up front. The next video will cause you a lot of positive emotions. Some of you are to burst into tears with a deep feeling, whereas others wish to be cared for or get a pet. The man was walking along the forest and noticed a deer cub with its mother. While the female was standing aside and watched what was happening around, the cub ran toward the man and let him stroke it. So that the man didn't feel confused, the small animal laid down and folded its paws. Such a nice and sweet creature. Those are only those who behave nice we're positive to in advance. Concerning hyenas, they're dangerous predators to most of us. We think we cannot expect anything but no kindness. However, the following video proves that wrong. A young hyena ran up to the car with people and went on its hind legs, looking into the window. The animal was obviously interested in what was inside, and that worked. In its eye, there were no greed or meanness. Just take it, seat in the car, and make your pet. Now we talk about the creatures that are in no hurry and enjoy their life. As I've already guessed, I'm talking about sloths. These guys eat only tree leaves that are hard to digest. The digestion takes more than a month, and is provided due to the symbiotic bacterium living in the gastrointestinal tract. Speaking of the animal, 2/3 of its body weight are represented by the contents of its stomach. It's mostly the diet why the animals are in no hurry. The animal doesn't want to waste energy, even in the hour of danger, as we can see in this video. After all, the digestion takes a lot of energy. Skunk. When the weather is fine and all the chores are done, it's an incredible pleasure to sit at your cottage house in the evening. However, even such a paradise can be shattered when some intruder appears on your doorstep. It's curious, but the skunk from the video even didn't try its luck to attack the woman, frighten her, or do any harm. The animal was just walking along the ground and ran into the bushes, avoiding to meet her. However, the woman got quite the scare, sprang to her feet, and never rested on her terrace anymore. Ambush. How can you speed up the carrier's work? You're right. You should send to the delivery point a lizard as a secret agent with the task to jump right into the worker's back. It's guaranteed that the carrier will pick up his speed and will be quicker to deliver a parcel to another client. What's interesting, this agent's help doesn't end on it. Along with this, the creature will also please the person getting the parcel. It will approach a surveillance camera by the entrance, lick it once or twice, and make the recipient smile broadly. Aliens! Yes, you didn't mishear. I'll show you real aliens shot on the construction site. 2 aliens stood close to each other and looked at the camera doing nothing. You must admit that they're unusual and completely different to what we imagined them early. Forget it, I'm kidding. Those were no aliens, unfortunately. Those were ordinary Titos, predatory birds spread all over the world. Their peculiarity lies in the fact that as soon as they meet people, they make faces and swing from one side to another. Close encounter. When guides tell that tourists will have a close encounter with the animals, I wish it to be exactly like in this clip. A group of people went for a tour around the savannah and met a beautiful cheetah. The gracious cat jumped onto their hood and stood for some time, looking around. When people calmed down, the cat lay down and remained in this position a couple of minutes more. For this time, the tourists managed to examine it as clearly as possible. Anyway, the cheetah didn't want to cause a delay. That's why the animal went down and left. It's interesting what was in the head of this animal then. How did it perceive people and the fact it was shot? It'd be curious to learn that, right? The following clip was born due to a secret surveillance camera in one girl's garden. According to her words, she had a hammock there. Every time when she came to that place, she noticed something wrong. There was a feeling as if somebody was lying in it when she was away. Therefore, she decided to set a camera to crack the case. She watched the footage and lost her tongue. It was a huge bear that relaxed in the hammock apart from her on that day. Although there was no difference if the bear was big or not, after all, the animal was a cub in spirit. The bear wanted to make fun and fall from the hammock, not thinking about hunting and other problems. If you think that bears are very perky, you're mistaken. It's not the case. The thing is, they're very curious. In this video, for example, a bear made its way to the balcony high over the ground just to say hello to people. Yes, you're right. The video author told that when the footage ended, the bear peacefully went down. And for what reason did this animal have to risk that way? In reality, though it's dangerous to rest somewhere close to the wild nature, that's incredibly exciting and interesting. After all, where else can you encounter a real giant elephant when bathing in a swimming pool? Judging by how the girl reacted, they were extremely surprised. It's a pity that the pool was not so big and located on a hill. Otherwise, the animal would have possibly joined the party. Seems to me that the giant was not against it. As practice shows, you don't have to go out for a journey to some deserts, savannas, or primeval forests to face the wild fauna. At times, it's enough to make your way to the road on a rainy day. After all, the video author encountered this turtle right in the middle of the highway. I've no idea how precisely the stars aligned, but the special service staff happened to be there exactly at that moment. They were glad to help the animal get over the road safe and sound. Here's someone who doesn't need any help to cross the road. Those are horses from the next video. The thing is, they're so beautiful that people who happen to pass by are not in a hurry to continue their way. They all stop and stroke them, whereas the horses themselves do not oppose. The animals just turn around, poke into the window, and friendly smell people in response. By the way, do you want to learn a fun fact about horses? Do you know how to define their age and health? It's possible to do that with the help of their teeth. This is where the following phrase takes its root: "Don't look a gift horse in the mouth." It's interesting, right? I used to think we should look them in the hooves. Actually, they're very sensitive and play the most important role. When the animals step on them, the soil-touching pressure sends the blood along the leg back to the blood system. This way, the hooves serve as a pump. Do you believe in magic? Wait, don't make fun of it, and don't think that's an echo from the past, some trick of something the films are exclusively characterized by. How will you explain that? In this clip, a dog noticed an intruder and went to fight against it as a loyal helper. No sooner had it run along the edge of the swimming pool than the lizard made a jerk to the opposite side right along the water. Either we can see a deity in front of us in the figure of a small creature, or the lizards are real magicians. Music lover. What can be better than having rest in the nature, eating favorite nuts, and listening to the saxophone live? The squirrel from this clip thought to itself, "You know, even through the camera, you feel like this animal was flying high." The rodent was on cloud 9 back then and relaxed the way its brethren even didn't think of. Basketball. Do you know the animal that plays basketball best of all? These are not giraffes or some jumpers such as a kangaroo, but the most stubborn and self-confident goat. Just look at how the animal passes the ball as human friend throws. The horned stands best chances to play in the NBA, doesn't it? It's already trained to field and pass a ball. The only thing left is to learn to throw, and we'll have to do with a real professional. Cheater. Here's an animal that can pretend being dead at its best, a snake. To be more exact, this small cheater that for no apparent reason plays on its host's hand. The reptile knows that he'll never hurt it, offend, or give away to somebody evil. Why does it pretend to be dead in his hands? The man, of course, knows all these clues like the palm of his hands. Anyway, each such performance is something surprising. Do you know how a baseball team once celebrated the Dog's Day? They took their favorite dog, Max, and seated him right on the sidelines. The super dog made the rest of the viewers smile and possibly even cheer for his team. Well, it seems to me that this is the perfect way to lure fans to your side without any dirty tricks. Let's look at how animals entertain in zoos. Later, the funniest moments with the animals in captivity. Let's start with these two beautiful lions. They're just wandering around their enclosure, having a good time, but then one of them saw something in the distance. The predator stared, stumbled, and fell into the water. With discontented face, it swam to the exit, while its congener was worried so much about it. It wanted to help, but it didn't know how. But that's okay, the clumsy lion handled the situation itself. Apparently, it wasn't the first time it'd fallen in the water, as it swam so confidently to the exit. While friendship reigns in some cages, conflicts arise in others. But of course, those conflicts are humorous. Today, we have a kind video after all. This enclosure is shared by a gibbon and a porcupine. Not the most obvious choice of neighborhood, is it? Besides, the porcupine doesn't like this neighbor at all. The cocky and mischievous gibbon every now and then provokes, teases, and annoys it, running over and poking its quills. Well, then, as befits a bully, it runs away from the evil, thorny creature. The porcupine is not so adept at climbing trees, so it has to endure these antics. Generally speaking, primates in zoos are the main purveyors of hilarious moments and situations. Just look at this actor. An orangutan asks for food like no other. It shows with its pose and appearance that the visitor is obliged to share his tasty food with it. And when the orangutan gets nothing, it just continues to stand there proudly. I don't know about you, but I'd give this Oscar-winning actor something to eat, unless of course it's forbidden by the rules. Primates like more than just acting, they also love magic tricks. A visitor shows the monkey a simple trick where an object disappears. Just look at the macaque's funny reaction. It's in total shock. The monkey doesn't understand what just happened and what kind of magic it was. The trick is repeated to the animal, and it runs around the enclosure again in amazement. It also turns back as if to say to its congeners, "Did you all see that?" Or maybe the primate understood everything perfectly well and was just kidding, playing off such a reaction to amuse people. After all, we already know what acting talents primates have. It feels like this rhino was just waiting for someone with a camera to come up to it. Why? Well, see for yourself. As soon as it saw that it was being filmed, it turned around and showed everyone the power of its intestinal. It must have been its way of expressing its dissatisfaction with its confinement. Actually, the visitors were lucky they didn't encounter a hippo. These big guys don't mind doing something like that in front of the audience either. Only, unlike rhinos, they also twirl their tail at this moment, spreading everything in all directions. In general, it's better not to get close to hippos, even in zoos. I would also advise you not to approach baboons. Well, or at least you should not annoy them and piss them off, as the two girls in this video did. They walk near the enclosure where the baboon is sitting and try to get its attention. First they call out to it, then they start teasing it, and then they throw rocks at it. At first, the baboon tolerated and didn't react, but there's a limit. The baboon got angry, started hitting the bars, screaming, and then threw feces at the girls and the cameraman, who happened to be their father. The moment was both funny and instructive. Although the rest was spoiled, people learned that it was better not to mess with baboons. Primates in general like to throw things at zoo visitors, but then again, they only do it in retaliation. The man with the banana mimicked the female orangutan's gestures, then he threw it a banana after all. It seemed as if they could part ways, but then the orangutan showed it wouldn't mind some more food. The man defiantly refused and immediately came under fire. The primate picked up a stone and threw it at the greedy zoo visitor. Then the female orangutan also threw a peel at him, and after another unsuccessful attempt to get a dainty, it threw another rock at the man. In general, both behaved badly here. The man could give a second banana, and the primate could calm down about its appetite. But in any case, the moment was amusing and unusual. Primates in general are pretty tough creatures. This primate in the enclosure decided to attack the guy who was standing behind the glass. The monkey climbs on the rope and starts spinning around. It does a few confident turns, jumps on the guy, and of course it crashes into the glass. It was preparing the attack so confidently, but eventually got into a ridiculous situation. Okay, let's stop with the primates for a moment and look at other animals. For example, bears. In general, bears, as well as other animals in enclosures, are a sad sight. But these animals are not sad. Look at their crazy dance. They move in time with the wave and delight visitors, though maybe they were just training and squatting. Who knows? Either way, the moment was funny. You should never miss opportunities, especially if you're an animal at the zoo. Here, a family was feeding carrots to another family, a family of goats, only they'd all forgotten that there was an ostrich pen behind them. The giant bird cunningly seized the moment and stole the dainty. The ostrich got even more than it wanted. The girls scattered everything on the ground, and now the bird had a free snack. Some steal from visitors, and some steal from their own relatives. This footage shows an orangutan eating a banana. By the way, could that be the female orangutan that was throwing rocks? We now know that it has a special love for bananas. Anyway, all of a sudden a little monkey came up to it and tried to snatch the banana right out of its mouth. The giant orangutan didn't tolerate this and immediately grabbed the little monkey and started squeezing it so much that the monkey squealed. But don't worry, it was just an educational moment, and the little monkey was all right in the end. Sometimes curiosities are born literally on the spot. This rhino decided to run somewhere but lost its balance, slipped, and amusingly fell on its side, after which it also rolled. The conjurer went to help it, but the clumsy rhino got up on its own. Nothing bad happened. Once again, we're back to primates. I'm sorry, but I said right off the bat that they're the main purveyors of hilarious moments and situations. This orangutan is another proof of that. The female saw that a visitor had accidentally dropped her sunglasses in its enclosure and decided that the item should not go to waste. It picked up the sunglasses and began to try them on. At first it couldn't figure out how to put them on, but soon it found the perfect position. Upside down on the bridge of its nose. For a short time, the primate became the most fashionable creature in the whole zoo. The accessory really suited it. However, it quickly got bored with the sunglasses, so it threw them to the rightful owner in exchange for a treat. And here is another primate of fashion. Of course, once again, this is an orangutan. It doesn't need glasses, but it does want a jacket. It defiantly unzipped it and tried to take it off the guy. The guy helped the animal. He had no choice. How could he leave the primate without such a cool thing? So the orangutan tries on the jacket and everyone laughs because it just threw it on itself. But wait, a couple of seconds pass and the primate expertly puts the jacket on as if it had been wearing it all its life. Maybe the jacket doesn't fit the animal a little bit, but it looks great anyway. Some spend their free time in the enclosure trying on fancy clothes, and some just spin around nonstop. If you don't know what it is, it's an otter. It seems that it's come up with something for itself to do all day. The video goes on and it still doesn't stop. How long do you think it's been hanging out like this? Do you know what a kiss from a giraffe is? I don't think so, but this girl does. She gave the giant some goodies and it licked her in gratitude. What an unforgettable experience and great footage to remember. It seems these geese also wanted the giraffe to kiss them, but the giant wasn't in the mood. It even almost hit one of the geese with its hoof. The latter didn't like it and decided to give the giraffe a beating. The goose flew up and tried to bite the giraffe, but the latter didn't know how to protect itself from the impertinent bird. At first, the giraffe took it as a joke, but eventually the goose pecked it so badly that the giant started running away from it. Literally. See for yourself. This man came to the petting zoo expecting just to look at elephants. He certainly didn't think he'd have to take part in a wrestling match. Check out this little elephant's technique. It's very competent at pushing its opponent, blocking his leg, and generally doing everything perfectly in terms of positions. This is a clean victory for the wrestler with a trunk. Polar bears are powerful and majestic animals. In the wild, they certainly are, but in captivity, they can look funny and even ridiculous. This bear was hesitant to jump into the water, swaying funny and seemingly about to take off into the sky. But here, the predator finally jumps right in front of the visitors, making a whole show. And finally, let's take a look at an unusual video from the zoo. It features an octopus, a very big one. See for yourself. The mollusk climbed onto the glass of the enclosure and even hung its tentacles out from the visitor side. So far, they're absolutely delighted. They just don't know yet that the octopus is planning a real escape. Soon, it climbs over the barrier and smacks on the floor. Octopuses are very intelligent animals that have a special tendency to escape from traps. And right now, you've all seen it. Here's the wild nature, including incredible animal scuffles we were lucky to capture on camera: crocodile and leopard. We all know the beautiful, strong qualities of both the crocodile and the leopard. These two are very agile and quick to achieve their goals, to catch any prey and not let it go. But sometimes conflicts can arise between the best ones too. In this video, for example, the leopard spotted the crocodile grabbing prey that the spotted creature had been stalking for a long time. Of course, the big cat didn't like it, and it decided to get on the reptile's nerves. The leopard breathed down the crocodile's neck for a long time, constantly intimidating and disturbing it. And then, well, what happened after that can't be shown on YouTube. If there's only one way to describe it, it was something like this. The leopard finally caught the crocodile and took the tasty prey with it, but the reptile's congeners visited the cat and tried to take revenge. By the way, write in the comments which animal do you think is stronger, a crocodile or a leopard? Something tells me that the answer will be very different because everyone can win with equal probability. Both creatures have deadly grip. The only question is which animal will use it first. In the night. Bears seem to us nice and kind creatures, but all this is only because they're shown as such in cartoons or family movies. In fact, these creatures have a grip of a killer and unreal strength, combined with huge weight and lightning speed. Just a few seconds and the bear's prey will be mauled. Realizing all its strength, the female bear in this video that was strolling in the night with its cub immediately knew how to act in the presence of the male. The male could show aggression to the cub, which meant that the female had to act fast, and most importantly, first. The best defense is offense. That was the rule the female followed in this story, attacking the male as soon as it continued to get close to the cub. Although the male was larger and probably stronger than the cub's mother, it didn't dare to fight the female. All creatures in the world understand that the mother is ready for anything and more when it comes to protecting its offspring. This rule especially works in the wild. The rhinos didn't share something. That's what the tourists from this video thought, who witnessed a spontaneous fight between these two large animals. It remains unknown what was the real reason for the fight, but one thing's certain, I wouldn't want to be in the place of one of them. Just look at the sharp, long, and powerful horns that each of the creatures attacked with. What a power in them! What a tough and impenetrable skin each rhino has. By the way, you can guess for yourself how the fight ended. The rhinos decided to keep the outcome a secret and carefully, as if dancing, moved into the bushes, hiding from the prying eyes of people with their cameras. A panda sits in a tree and goes about its lazy business. Nothing unusual seems to be going on, or even should be, since everything around is quiet and no predators are in sight. Yeah, that's because you and I aren't paying close enough attention. Look closely. All this time, another panda was in the same tree as the first panda. It merged with the trunk and the foliage, and then it suddenly lunged towards its congener and started a fight. Personally, don't understand what exactly was the reason for this. Whether each of the pandas desperately wanted to sit in this particular tree, or it was molestation by the male, or maybe it's pandas from two different clans and they sorted out their relationship. There could be many variants. Write in the comments, which one do you like the most? Who's the coolest? This is the question the lions in the following video asked themselves, and of course, by all the rules of wildlife, decided to find out in a fair fight. From the first seconds of the fight, it was noticeable how the male on the left side dominated its opponent. It quickly and deftly knocked it down and delivered a series of blows from a much more advantageous position. The opponent couldn't do anything about it. It was exhausted. The exhausted lion was forced to surrender, bowing its head before its stronger congener. Of course, blows after the end of the battle and the admission of defeat were out of the question. Because lions are animals that honor the rules and laws, it's not for nothing that they're regarded as kings of the jungle. If now you think that nothing could be more beautiful and noble than a duel between lions, it means that you simply haven't seen a fight between Eurasian coots. These are little waterfowl that are easy to recognize by their white beak and the leathery ring on their foreheads are the same color. Representatives of the species can't fly very well, but they can swim very well, and as practice shows, in water they not only swim well, they also fight skillfully and very effectively there. The only thing I can't understand is whether they have such well-honed and graceful tricks, or whether the effect of the water and splashing makes their fight look incredibly beautiful and spectacular. What do you think? That's all, guys. Which battle impressed you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you later.